Hi guys, this is Emnel and I am back. We are going to play some Stellaris at first. Utopia expansion has released just last week. I actually had the preview copy, but having received that quite late, just a day before the game came out, I figured I will do the right thing and rather than release rushed content in which I stumble in the dark, I've by now played 2 games on Insane to test all the mechanics and have this playthrough be quite smooth as it gets. So let's talk about those 2 games actually. First I played something a bit weird, which is Xenophobe Pacifist Spiritualist Empire. There's a bit of a different playstyle, probably not the best one to do on stream or on YouTube actually, because it's very isolationist and you basically can't really go to war very well. But I've done it for the sake of getting a lot of unity and testing the new tradition system, which it was very nice. I also went using the fact that I was a spiritualist. I tested the new psychic sort of storyline, and it was actually quite nice. So, and there was that. Second one, I went with one of the new starting civics, which is mechanists, in which situation you start with some robots and already a tech to build them. And that of course led me to the game in which I in the end transferred my consciousness into the shell of robots, or actually synthetics, which is one of the other endgame goals that have been introduced with Utopia. I actually I have to say, like, out of the bat, that Stellaris is in a decent shape. If I were to be snide, I'd say it's almost in the position in which you would consider it ready for release. But yeah, it's good enough. So I figured that the third way I want to play that should be very interesting for you guys is to play as a hive mind. Hive minds are a new type. Let's get to the actual edit of the empire we're going to play, which is this one. And if we go to the government and ethics, you see that the hive mind ethic has been added in the middle of the wheel. And there have been some other changes. Collectivist was replaced with authoritarian. What was it? Individualist, I believe, with egalitarian. And all the things have been basically rebalanced and changed 100%, I would say. So there's a lot of changes, but let's not get into that specifically. So as you can see, there are first of all, hive minds, for example, have a single mind, so they are not affected by happiness of all things, which also means that they aren't really affected by habitability of planets. I mean, you need to have at least 40 habitability on a planet to be able to colonize it, but that's about it. They're, for the sake of how productive your people or your drones, your appendices are, it doesn't really matter. On the other hand, increasing your happiness doesn't help either, so and that's a bit of a kick in the teeth for the late game, but well, there we are. You don't really have a normal leader per se, like with all the other types of government, which are now under the type of authority. You can be democratic, oligarchic, you can be dictatorial or a monarchy, basically. You have the fifth one, which is hive mind. And so you don't have some associated bonuses with the leaders, but well, your actual leader is just an emanation of your hive mate. Well, And one of the things that you can do is basically eat other species that you have conquered, because you don't really assimilate the other species in your empire. You just consume them. So that's where the idea for the empire comes in, because I figured it should be something at least resembling something smart. So I figured, okay, I never played with the butterfly guys. So I just googled flesh-eating butterflies, and there it was. There's apparently a famous rare butterfly in Britain, of all places. That is called. Okay, let's check I think I named it the planet. Yeah, Apatura iris, apparently. So or a purple emperor. So I figured, all right, fair enough, and we have an iris empire. I kinda like tropical world, so I didn't want to go for actual British climate, but close enough, I'd say. As far as my civics, so this is, as you probably figured, those two things, if you haven't played Utopia already, but I will, go easy on the explanation since the game is out for almost a week now. Basically, those two things replace the old government system. And now you have, once you pick your ethics and pick your authority, you have a selection of civics. So let us remove that for a second. And as you can see, the Hive mind itself has a different set of authorities, but the rest of the ethic combos have access to everything, except they're limited by, for example, to have nationalization. You need to be militarist, to be inward perfectionist. You need to be at the same time pacifist and xenophobe, as I showed in with the other faction or species. So let's go back to being a hive mind, and what I went for. So the interesting idea is actually quite similarly to the way you could do it before, is that you can change your civics and your level of authority. As hive mind, you cannot stop being a hive mind, but you will be able to switch your civics later on. Also, there's a technology that adds a third slot. So you are best off just going at least early on for things that help you in the early game, or things that you specifically want to test or experience. For that reason, we are going to actually go for unity once again. As a hive mind, we actually start with plus 20 unity bonus, which added with additional 15 will be interesting enough, and we'll be able to nicely test the new traditions system with you guys watching. And another thing I will go for, I think, is so there are some other options like this one. I'm not a big fan of, but better leader levels from the get-goes, army damage. Additional core systems is of course good. Consumer goods, it's a later research, later game thing, really. And there's of course always good research speed and naval capacity. So those two are quite powerful, and I would consider probably taking natural neural network, but I think we'll just go for additional influence, especially since influence is the resource you used to change your civics in the first place. So that will give us some maneuver. Now, of course, we want to look at our traits. So, if you remember, I mentioned that hive minds aren't really affected by happiness, and therefore don't really care about habitability, because habitability, among other things, sets the bar of how high your happiness can go, and that in turn affects your productivity. You get the drill. So there are basically two ways to go about it as hive minds. You can either tank your habitability and use all the points you get for it, because that's the only -2 trait, and use those things to boost your other options. In this case, I have, as you can see, 25% boost to engineering and 15% boost to energy from the get-go, and 10% to other types of research. I'm also repugnant, but well, I mean, I'm a beautiful butterfly, but the butterfly in question is known for feasting on rotten corpses of animals, on excrements and things like that. So I think that's actually quite fitting when you can get to know the guy. Now this is something I actually prepared before I started, before I played my previous game, in which I already tested something I wanted to test, which is missiles. Missiles have been famously terrible in the previous installment of the game. And they received very serious bonuses and buffs in this. In this patch, but having played full campaign with them, they're still pretty bad. I wouldn't like. I managed to basically win the campaign, but that was a lot of effort, and when I tried coupling them with spacecraft, with strikecraft like bombers and fighters, things like that, and if you can't really win a equal fight if you and the enemy that uses projectile and energy weapons uses the same have the same naval capacity or fleet power. Sorry. Basically, if your fleets are, at least according to the game, equal, you are going to lose badly. So missiles aren't all that great. So I think we will actually test energy weapons this time around. I only have played with those two lately, projectiles were the name of the game in my Gods of Eridu campaign, which, by the way, is, I'm afraid, dead. The changes were so substantial that we cannot really continue. Also, there have been quite interesting developments that I don't think that many people will be interested in, rolling back the version and playing there, especially since it was kind of ruined by all those bugs with how the species have been randomly changing, and that since have been resolved, but left the sour taste. For that reason, we are going to replace neutral engineers with neutral physicists, since we are going to with lasers. Also, I'm going with hyperspace travel. That was exactly the same thing I went with last time, but I actually figured that we are going to do something a bit different this time around, and we are going to play hyperspace only game. Actually, developers in recent months came out saying that they think that was it was a mistake to include 3 times of travel, and I've seen some people claiming that they have much better fun playing with a game limited to 1 FTL method. I tested it and I actually liked it a lot. It reduces a whack-a-mole, makes it a bit more strategic and overall interesting, in my opinion. So we are going to take our flesh-eating butterflies for a spin. As you can see, I already played with hyperdrives as the only allowed FTL method. That doesn't disable late-game drive, so at some point there will be changes. I have an iron on, but for some reason, and as you can see, the game is eligible for achievements, but for some reason in the previous game, using exact same same details with, you know, insane difficulty, I'm going to go for a high aggressiveness because that makes AI suicidal, what I tested. Which it's normal version that they are aggressive enough and they will punish you if you slack with your fleet, but yeah. Alright, we've been talking about 50 fucking minutes, sorry for that, so let's press play and go. We'll see how at least the galaxy around us looks. Alright, so we are starting in more or less center of the galaxy. In the inner ring, we are going for two-armed galaxy. This is, I think, my favorite one, which and there isn't, yeah, especially when it comes to hyperlines, and I like it a lot. So we are at the back end of this arm, and we have close access to the outer rim here, and well, depending on how the area around us turns out to be, it should be fairly interesting. First of all, let's okay. Well, first of all, let's check our research. Okay, so we don't. We are unlucky enough to not get spaceport solar networks, which is a shame. Solar, what is it? Yes, solar panels, spaceport solar panels. Which this is I think the first time I haven't gotten this. In that case, well. Fusion reactors would be better because, well, this is very important technology for your ships, but we want those solar panels, so we're going to go with still very useful but cheaper version, cheaper tech. And it's not like we're going to adapt our ships, put better things on our ships again. Terraforming, wow, okay. Some pretty shitty stuff all over here, but I think we consider getting symbols of unity from the get-go. We don't care for happiness, so they're pretty terrible in that regard, and quite expensive with 200. But we do really want that unit, and as you can see, even with our bonuses, we just start to just over 2 points per month, and without many ways of improving it, except getting things like that, or getting a research that improve well, basically, let's start with symbols of unity. That's the bottom line of it. Actually, we have the biology experts, so we could get the quick fix, but I think getting the symbols of unity that early and building it on our first planet is actually the only situation in which this thing will be useful. So let's grab that. Here we'll start with mining network. It's we don't know what we are going to encounter here in terms of minerals and energy, and it's better safe than sorry. As I mentioned, our leader doesn't have any trail, doesn't have any agenda, so we sadly aren't getting any bonuses in that regard. Let's check our rest of our leaders. This guy, clear blocker. Oh, it's very useful stuff, so good enough for us. Sadly, the guy that is on the science ship isn't very good. Just a little lifespan. Nothing interesting. No. We are actually pretty unlucky when it comes to this thing. In my previous game, I got like 3 geniuses at the start, which was pretty insane. Well, either way, you are going to survey the system for now. You are going to sit still, and let's get our scouting fleet's going. So our first habitable world is just around the corner, and it is within our grasp, which, well, sadly we only have, starting at the very edge, we only have 2 systems in which we can build stuff at the start, which is a bit unnerving, but well, here we go. Okay, so one guy will go this way, one guy will scour this area and jumps to check what's there, and the third guy will try to check this a little bit. Let's go like this, actually. I should have bloody checked that, but well. Well, there we go. Of course, he will be dead by the time we finish this, but well. So one less. Now you are going to come this way. Actually, this way. And then you will jump around here and test this. Okay, maybe that's not the best scouting route, but yeah, whatever. And the third guy basically go here. Let's check the closed bits first. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Now let's see how lucky we will be with, you know, the ability to not lose stuff. Now, okay, I don't think we are going to talk about traditions just yet. Let's split this up and see what we see. I'm not going to build a second spaceship just yet. As far as our world, alright. The one thing you kind of want pretty early on is on top of you know, is autochthon monument. I'm a bit torn. Where do I want it? I think in a place of society research, actually, rather than engineering. I'm a bit. Well, yeah, no, you know what? In this case, I think since we are going for the energy builds at the start, at least we are going to sacrifice some engineering. Let's go here. Alright, so another habitable planet. This is habitable planet as well, perfectly good, with well, at least 40 habitability, so it will work exactly as our starting planet, basically, and it's huge. So that's a good thing for a start. We are yet to find actual enemies. The start will start surveying the system. Normally, well, in the previous versions, I would go with second science ship outright, but here we will start with the discovery, in which will lead us to 2 very important unlocks. First is to boldly go, which reduces anomaly failure risk, but also increases significantly an anomaly discovery chance by plus 15%. So if we wait with scanning the systems around our homeworld till we get that little bit, that will mean that we are going to basically get more anomalies around us, which in turn leads to getting more resources that come from them in the area around us. And secondly, there's this OP stuff, which Planetary Saver Corps, which basically gives us, every time we survey the planet, we gain half of our monthly research. So in this case, 3, 3.5, and 3 for every surveyed planet, which increases our research exponentially to the point of being outright OP. And I think they really need to carve it down just a little bit, because now it's basically the thing to go for. So we are going to, for that reason, just start slow with surveying. Okay, the good thing about this is that okay, so there are this is a space station of information age empire, so last stage of a primitive empire that may show up in this system, which is okay. We'll eat them like all the others. But I'm really amazed by the fact that our scouts are still alive. It doesn't really happen. Alright, so first thing we discovered is this bit. Let's actually build the mining station outright. We'll need some of that tasty research. So some of those energy credits. The more credits we have, the faster we can actually colonize, of course. So never mind. Okay, you know what? We will actually start with 3 minerals. That's early on. Minerals are very early on, at least minerals are more important. And that means we have finished constructing our monument here. I'm almost tempted to switch. I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to get into the minus food just to get higher unit income to be able to start unlocking those things that much faster. That basically doubled our unit income for now. And we have quite a lot of spare food and can always come back. So that's definitely good enough in my book.
System survey complete.
Trace we surveyed. Oh, we haven't found much, but well, there you go. Yeah, I definitely don't want. I wanted you to, yes, survey that system second, and you definitely not go there. But well, okay, we'll deal with that later.
Situation log updated.
Okay, we have counted alpha aliens. Pause. And enigmatic space fair. Yes, we know. Well, it seems like okay. You are going this way. Sadly, we haven't been able to take a glimpse, so we will jump back in here. But I think that that means we encountered another space empire around there. Well, which is a bit problematic so close to us, but there we go. Well, as soon as we know. Okay, hostile fleet present. Nothing too crazy around here. Okay, since you are about to finish with your scouting, I don't think we are going to go that far. Let's circle back around and get all those things here. Oh, actually, you are coming in here. So yes, that's that is a fully fledged empire. This is the homeworld, building shit. Yep. Polysimus Prime. So I don't think this is one of my own empires. Oh no, actually that is. those are the robotic guys. On apparatus. Okay, never mind. This is not one of my my empires, I don't think. Anyway, that probably means that we will want to either. Okay, what's the word again? This is an alpine world, which means they are most likely to. Okay, so this is a 21. This is something they will want definitely. Continental world, desert world, Arctic world, yes, and another alpine world here. How about there? Another alpine world there. Practically, what we should do is, okay, so their range. We should try to build a frontier outpost in this very system to prevent them from. Actually, in this one, we'll give up on this bit, but they are unlikely to try to colonize tropical. But building here, first of all, it is a black hole, so that will give us, I believe, 5 physics research, which is very important stuff outright for, well, free, so to speak. And this is close enough to this, and we should be able to basically block them from expanding in this direction. And we, as you can imagine, are kind of hoping that there isn't anything there, and by blocking them we will get all that backyard to ourselves, at least from the start. And later I guess we'll have to try to block them from expanding there, which, well, will be problematic by the fact that there is that alpine world here that they will try to grab, but, well, one crisis at the time. So we definitely don't want you to go there. We are at 140, and let's see if we were to. Well, first of all, we'll need to survey the whole thing. How fast do we want to do that? I do think we need to do that pretty fast. Oh, there's a Trappist system which has been added to the game lately. With the banks update, it is something from the fiction by Banks. I haven't actually read any of his books myself, but I've heard some people expressing amazement with that. So that's pretty cool. All right, so in this case, we are going to finish this survey and jump all the way here. Our construction ship will also raise here. Let's just allow him to let's slow it down for once. This survey, and then we'll go straight for that. Ah, look at that. We have more physics, so we're going to survey that, and then I guess check this alpine world before it. Well, we'll see what we're going to do next. But for now, this is our planned minimum. Well, we are at 33 minutes. I'm actually going to try to do a bit smaller episodes in this series, and from now on I will try 20-something minutes episodes. First of all, I actually have been watching quite a lot of Let's Plays lately and found those more enjoyable, and to my surprise. And secondly, my voice hasn't fully recovered yet, so I'm already feeling the effects of talking for 30 minutes, and for that reason we'll try to keep it a bit short, but I will try to release more than like once every 2 days, like I used to. But all those details about the channel you will actually find in the channel update, so I'm not going to waste your time here. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next episode. If you liked this and you want to see it go further, please do put a like on this particular video. I'm not going to annoy you with those requests later, but this is first in the episode, first in the series, and that allows people to actually find the thing if they want such an entertainment. So Thanks in advance and cheers!